I'm just excited. I'm so excited for the readers to finally see the movie. They seem to be really embracing it already, and they haven't even seen it yet. So I'm just excited for them to finally have their payoff for the last, 5-6 years of dedication.
Yeah, but it's good pressure. It's a responsibility, but it's also an honor to make sure we play the roles right, because they're obviously wholesome characters that have already been identified and described to a large extent. So there's a responsibility to make sure we get it right, but it's an honor to have a shot.
As we were shooting, I felt really lucky in the sense I didn't really feel any pressure to play the character. So, I mean, there's always an expectation with this sort of thing when you have a really strong story that you're adapting, that there's an expectation as to how the character's going to be. But I feel really lucky that I feel like we had a lot of freedom on set.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff left out technically, but it's mostly just timing. I'm really happy with the things that we did include, and some of the things, the book is so long, like it's longer than your typical book as well, so it makes it even more challenging. But it's not really anything that I had to have in there that wasn't. I mean, I would probably add a few curse words if I had the choice, but beside that, I pretty much every main thing that the fans I know they love so much, we kept. And I think it's a lot closer than people are going to think, even though there's things missing. But if everyone goes to see the movie, we can make up for them in the sequels. So I'm fine with the way it went, and I was so involved that if there would have been something really, really important, it made it into the film. We don't know. I mean, it's just up to people going to see it, to be honest. We would love to, but we don't know how the general public will react. But if everyone goes to see it, then yes.
I don't really feel like there's anything we actively did to create chemistry. Just it was obviously really helpful that we got to know each other a little bit before we started shooting, because we were very lucky to have a 1-week rehearsal period, which you don't always get.
I think the week's rehearsal period was really helpful, because we had nothing to do but rehearse, and the odd costume fitting and stuff, and to hang out in the hotel the whole time together with Anna and everyone there as well. We had so much time off set to get to know each other that all those barriers were broken down by the first day of filming.
I mean, everyone can take what they feel from it. My job is really to write it and put it out in the world, but I feel like they're able to feel that if they want. But I feel like there's a big difference in talking about problems and people making mistakes than being toxic. I feel like their relationship at times is clearly toxic. It's they say it themselves in the book. It's literally in the book where they're very aware of this. But humans, we have these kind of relationships all the time. Even if it's with friends or family, I think that it's too limiting to tell a writer or anyone in the creative world that they can only write happy, fluffy stories where no one makes mistakes. If that were the case, then most of my favorite stories would never be created. So for me, I feel them, good for them, they can have an opinion, but I can't let these kind of things limit my creativity, otherwise I would never be able to tell realistic stories. It was one of those weird, it was that movie magic thing people talk about. I was like, oh, that's not a thing, but it really is in these situations. It was almost everybody that we cast, we knew immediately. There were a couple people that we went back and forth, but with these two, with Hero, I met him before Joe, and I basically borderline threw a tantrum and was like, I'm not attending any more castings. You have to hire him. That's it. It wasn't, I didn't have to persuade them. They all loved him, but it was from the moment he came in, I literally didn't go to the next casting. I didn't go. So I proved my point, but there's just something, I can't even explain it honestly. It was just and it wasn't even from the tapes or anything. It was just in person, where I don't know, it was just a thing that I felt, and I was like, that's it, no one else can be Hardin. And then for Josephine, she was auditioning for a role that's completely opposite of Tessa, and when we saw her face, it was just like, wait, what? And it wasn't even really her face. Like, she technically looks like the character, but there's just something about her, like, maturity level and
my neurotic vibe.
Yes, it was the neurotic overthinking vibe that I was like, that's Tessa. It was just that, like, thing that you can't describe, but I just knew somehow. And I feel like I've been proven pretty right so far. So I'm pretty proud of myself for that. I've been here a few times for book tours. I just love the food and the people, and everything's so beautiful.
Yeah. I've never been here before. It's so beautiful. The streets, I'm obsessed with the streets, and I know that sounds so weird, but it's like we don't have these like cobblestoney streets in Australia. So yeah.
That's gorgeous.
Probably say the weather. I feel like maybe I'm just really lucky, but every time I come to Spain, it's perfect. Not too hot, not too cold. The sun's always out. So